done my 10 days and I haven't done any of my 10 days, but I want you to convert that to community service hours because of this job, I'm going to tell you no. If it's like $50 a month, I don't care. Money is not my concern. Changed behaviors is my concern. Because that was firing you was one of the hardest things she ever had to do. Madison, right? We're here for sentencing counsel. Your appearance.
Good morning, Your Honor. Report staff, Neighborhood Defender Service, Western, P86948. On behalf of Ms. Madison McKee, you say it's not right, Ms. McKee, would you please state your full name? Madison Rose McKee.
Thank you. Go ahead, counsel.
Your Honor, I've gone over the pre-sentence investigation report with Ms. McKee. There are no corrections to the important issues that have been. I believe that the prosecutor did not object to 74, sentencing under 7411. Your Honor stated that you take a look at the assignment of the determination and sentencing. I have talked to Ms. McKee. She's also joined in the courtroom by her mother. I've talked about all the conditions of probation. That she can work with probation department to get enrolled into a substance abuse treatment program. Ms. McKee, I think since this incident, has made a lot of changes to her life. She's moved back with her parents. There's no alcohol in the house when she's at her mother's house. Her license was temporarily suspended, so right now she's doing dog sitting for people, family, friends that she she's formally taken a CNA course. Once this is concluded, she's gonna try to get a certificate.
Okay.
So that she can look at enrollment. But she's willing to participate in substance abuse treatment. She has a strong environment. Her mother reports that she's taken a lot of steps to change the folks and the groups of people that she's hanging around. And that the house that she's currently living in is a substance-free area. I would ask this court to follow the recommendation 12 months probation under 7411 and ask the court to continue waiving any discretionary costs or fines. As Ms. McKee isn't working now, but we want her to focus on her CNA, getting CNA certified.
Right. So are you currently on Woodland Boulevard?
Yes.
That's mom's address? Okay. Prior to the July 19, 2025 incident, had you ever been arrested for anything? Never, no misdemeanors at all? What was your GPA at Erie?
In high school, is that we are asking judges?
Okay. All right. So in my experience, when I ask a kid what their GPA is and they can't tell me, it's because it should have been higher than it was. Does that apply to you? Could you have done better than you did in high school? Yeah. What held you back?
During COVID, we were online.
We killed you guys. Yeah. 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 Have you had a job ever? Where have you worked? What is that? What is it? Okay. Hence the CNA interest. Go ahead. Okay. 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 Any objections if we take the count one under 7411? When's she eligible for a license?
I believe they
So coming up. Okay. So you should be working by end of June, right? Well, let's put it this way. You'll be working somewhere by the end of June. Okay. Even if it's not the job you want, get a job. Sounds like the jobs you've had, you haven't done a lot of interviewing. Am I right? Okay. So here's what you don't want. You don't want the interviewer to say, what are you doing now? And say, looking for work. What you want to be able to say is, I'm doing this. I work here. These are my hours. This is what I do. But what I really want to do is get into this field. That's why I'm applying with you. Because it's easier for an employer to take a chance on somebody that's already working than somebody that's not working, because the biggest problem all employers have now is giving somebody a job and they never show up. Okay. So even though you might have in your mind the job you want, get a job. As soon as you can get to the job, I don't care if it's Wendy's, get a job. All right. For as many hours as they'll give you while you look for the job that's starting your career. Okay. All right. So on count one, I will do this under a delayed sentence for 12 months. I'm going to adopt in full the recommendations. Mom, normally I'm going to order work program on a file like files like these instead of jail time, but sounds like you're the transportation right now. Are you working every day? Okay. She was working for you at the time. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. You were probably mad at her at the time, weren't you? Yeah. 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 Well, I don't want her to get a job that you got to drive her to, though. Right? But I mean, if there's some place you can get, even if it's a crappy job for 10 hours a week, if there's a job you can get close to home, get it. Because then when you go to look at the other job and they say, why are you only working 10 hours a week? Because that's the only job I could get that I could walk to. Now, what are you telling them? You want to work, right? You want to work. Okay. You'll have your license by the end of May, right? All right, so here's what we're going to do. On each of these files, one's going to be delayed sentence, one's just going to be straight probation. On each of these files, 12 months, you're under my thumb. Okay? I'm adopting in full the recommendations. On each of these files, you owe me 5 days on the work program. I'm okay with you scheduling that after you get your driving privileges reinstated. Okay? Now, if you get a chance for the job and the work program hasn't been done yet and it's causing you a problem, come back and talk to me and we'll look at that. Okay? I'm not making you any promises right now, other than the fact that I'll listen to what you've got to tell me. I'm going to tell you right now, if you come to me and you say, I haven't done my 10 days and I haven't done any of my 10 days, but I want you to convert that to community service hours because of this job, I'm going to tell you no. So get some done. And then if they're standing, your schedule standing in the way of the good job, then we'll talk. Understood? All right. On each of these files, I'm going to give you a break on the money. I'll tell you what, I will suspend fines and costs on count one. Comply with all the terms that I just told you about, the ones you went over with Ms. Scott. You comply with all those terms, do your 5 days, and I won't charge any money on that file at all. On the impaired driving, recommendations are followed in full, 5 days on the work program on that file, and fines and costs are $1,200. Go downstairs and we'll talk about options down there. I will work with you forever on money as long as you're doing everything else you're supposed to be doing. And I mean literally forever. I don't care if it's like $50 a month. I don't care. Money is not my concern. Changed behaviors is my concern. Got it? Any questions? You go give your mother a big hug. I'm serious as a heart attack. Because that was firing you was one of the hardest things she ever had to do. Probably one of the best things you ever did too. All right. So listen to your mother. All right. So you listen to your mother, you communicate with me. When you work that hard in your 20s, when you're an old man like me, you don't have to work that hard. Your appearance for Osley.
Good morning, Your Honor. Marshall Goldberg and Mr. Ackley.
Good morning. Have you fellas had a chance to look at the report and recommendation?
Your Honor, I emailed it to my client, he looked it over at the end today, and he talked about it.
Good. All right. Anything to correct?
Not to correct.
All right. Anything to add?
Uh,
Go ahead.
I guess it's more allocation.
I'm ready to hear it.
When we resolved this matter, I asked the prosecutor what his thoughts were at 7411, and he said it's certainly up to you and the judge and whatever probation determines. So ultimately, I'm asking the court to impose a sentence that would be under 7411. I talked to my client about employment. We can get in terms of ways, and we're surmising this may have something to do with it.
This shouldn't even be on a record anywhere.
Well, it's still listed as pending.
Well, that's going to be, it'll be pending until he gets to the end of his deferment then.
7411, at least it may not appear
Mm-hmm.
system.
Mm-hmm. Where you been applying?
Right?
Okay. When's the last time you had a job? Where were you working then? How long? What's the status of your driving record? Your privileges? You're driving? Okay. Where'd you go to high school? What was your GPA? Have you done any school since then? What are your long-term plans? What are you thinking? Like carpenter, plumber? What are you thinking? Okay, where at? You got something picked out? Okay. What are you waiting for?
I was gonna, if we most of my applications,
I know what the process is. My question is, what are you waiting for?
sorry.
Well, you're waiting because you haven't done it yet. What are you waiting for? How long have you decided that you want to do that?
Well, year,
Okay. I'm not excited. All right, go ahead, counsel.
Your Honor, right, he's not working. Any way we can minimize financing costs, I'd appreciate it. There was a civil infraction that went along with this because of the grace of the grandmother that was taken care of.
Mhm.
Certainly was not at this point standing on its feet independent, which ultimately this court, I'm sure knows, this is goal based
Yep.
requirements. But there's no aggravating circumstances about this, no prior record. Good candidate, there's something to go not appear on his record.
You got his file, Mr. Trolley? No CCH?
But according to my idea, I have an investigation.
Okay. No prior convictions for misdemeanors or felonies? I'm not inclined to give him a 7411. He already got the big break when they took it from a felony down to a misdemeanor. What are your thoughts, Mr. Trolley?
Your Honor, my thoughts are, it gives him the opportunity to prove to you, you can fully comply. You can set certain goals.
I can do all that without giving him that extra gift.
I understand, but it's the same.
I'll tell you what, you get something on a plea agreement from the prosecutor that he offers it, and then I'll consider it.
They're not in here today. I didn't see it.
No, they're not. They're here on Tuesdays. Tuesday, state.
oh, we have some.
I'll tell you what. I'll adjourn sentencing. He can do something other than talk about doing a trade school between now and sentencing. That will make my tail wag. And as long as the prosecutor has no objections, then I'll consider a delayed sentence. How's that? All right. How much time you want? Keep in mind, you got to make my tail wag before I see you, or I'm not going to give you the 7411.
Yeah.
No, 2 weeks? No, brother.
That filled in. No. Their companies don't move. that.
You're going to make my tail wag. That means you're going to come back here with a job, or you're going to come back and you're going to be enrolled somewhere so you can get a job.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you need a scholarship of some sort or a loan of some sort to begin your trade school? No.
Okay. The other thing that'll make my tail wag is if you had a job. Okay. Matter of fact, I can do better than that. Hold on. you got a driver's license, you can drive, right? Legally, you got a car, you got one you can borrow. Could you get to Monroe every day for a job? Okay, all right. I got a buddy that's always hiring.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, I've had his cards on my desk for 15 years. Yeah. I'll tell you what, when's your next sentencing date? June 25th. We'll have you come back. Go ahead, look at your account. So as long as your attorney is available on June 25th, you come back that day and you've got a job, and I mean a real job. I don't mean like 20 hours a week in McDonald's. Look, I want you to understand something the way I think. You're 22 years old. Are you as healthy as you look? I mean, you don't have any health problems that keep you from working hard, right? Okay. So in my world, you should be working 60 or 70-hour weeks. Because when you work that hard in your 20s, when you're an old man like me, you don't have to work that hard. All right? So when I see a kid that's 22 years old and he hasn't worked for months, it's offensive to me. Because I know lots of people that are looking for help. All right? So you come back, you've got a real job, like a full-time plus job, or you're in trade school, even better, if you're in trade school and have a job, then I will consider his request to put you on a 7411. Deal? Okay. Are you available that day? What time you want to do it?
9. Sorry. 9.
And give me the date again. June what? 25? 9 a.m. Here's my note to myself because I have a terrible memory. Tail wagging job or school. Got a plan, gentlemen? We have a plan?
Yes.
All right. All right, counsel. See you then.
This tense courtroom hearing turned into a brutal life lecture after the judge confronted a 22-year-old defendant who admitted he hadn't worked for months. Instead of accepting excuses, the judge aggressively challenged his lack of motivation, demanding real change before granting any second chance in court. The courtroom grew uncomfortable as the judge explained that unemployment at his age was offensive because hard-working people were desperately searching for help everywhere. The judge made one thing crystal clear. If the defendant wanted leniency, he needed to prove himself with a real full-time job or trade school enrollment before returning to court.